My name is Sadna Jaikmar and I'm a senior at Newbury Park High School. Today I'll be presenting the latest developments and treatments for COVID-19. To provide an overview of what I'll be going over in this presentation, I'll begin by providing contextual information important to my study. I will then go over the latest developments in clinical treatments, at-home practices, and natural therapies, and after discussing the progress of these treatments, I will then finish off this presentation with some key takeaways. In December 2019, in the city of Wuhan, Hubei Province, China, an outbreak of respiratory cases was observed, and amid this breakout, a novel coronavirus termed SARS-CoV-2 was identified. Although several speculations exist as to how this virus originated, many researchers believe that it stems from an animal, perhaps one that was sold in one of Wuhan's seafood markets as a result of viral chatter. Now, lower respiratory tract infection-related symptoms such as fever and dry cough were first observed from those who contracted the disease. And invariable tests have identified that those with diabetes, coronary artery disease, hypertension, and obesity are more susceptible in getting the disease. Now, understanding the mechanism of the SARS-CoV-2 virus can be helpful in combating it and creating treatment options. The life cycle of the SARS-CoV-2 virus is as follows. First, the virus attaches to the target or host cell and then enters viral RNA, then enters the nucleus and is replicated. New viral particles are made by the cell and then released by the cell. Now, currently there is no cure for COVID-19, nor is there recommended medication or treatment plan. However, there are several treatment options that are being studied and evaluated for safety and efficiency. For this project, I've investigated 3 clinical treatments that have been quite popular and other treatment options that are being considered as well. Now, when someone recovers from COVID-19, their blood still contains the antibodies that were used to fight the viral infection. The convalescent sera option for containing COVID-19 looks at the transfusion of serum from a recovered COVID-19 patient to someone who currently has severe COVID-19 with the goal of re-exposing those antibodies. This type of treatment has been used in the early 1900s against polio and the measles, and in 2013 against the Ebola virus disease. However, clinical trials have shown that the transfusion of serum into a patient with severe COVID-19 can have side effects. To give you a visual of the convalescent sera treatment option, blood is drawn from a recovered COVID-19 patient and the serum is then collected from that blood. It can then be used as a prophylactic measure for someone who has been exposed to the virus or as a therapeutic measure for someone who currently has severe COVID-19. Antiviral drugs can slow or stop a virus from reproducing after it has infected a person, and remdesivir is an experimental antiviral drug that can inhibit viral RNA polymerases. Now, one study published in the New England Journal of Medicine observed that among hospitalized patients who had severe COVID-19 and were given at least 1 dose of remdesivir, 68% of those patients showed clinical improvement. And a larger study showed that patients receiving clinical care who received remdesivir recovered faster than those who received a placebo. However, the results of this study were not statistically significant. Now, this is a graph that shows the results of the study that observed 53 hospitalized patients, and as you can see, significant clinical improvements were seen across the board since the initiation of remdesivir to day 36. The 95% confidence interval informs us that the results were statistically significant, and the Hall-Willner band is a confidence band and is used in medical reports to show the survival function. Dexamethasone is a common corticosteroid medication that has been used to treat autoimmune conditions and allergic reactions, and is currently being looked as a treatment option for COVID-19. A press release from a recovery trial stated that in hospitalized patients with severe COVID-19, those who received a low daily dose of dexamethasone had a lower death rate as compared to patients who did not receive the medication. The use of dexamethasone is now part of the standard care in many UK hospitals and clinics. Now, vitamin C and zinc are also being investigated as alternative treatment supplements and or add-on therapies, and many clinics are looking at using the combination of lopinavir and ritonavir, 2 antiviral agents that are known to control HIV, in combating COVID-19. However, the results of these clinical trials are mixed. Many of the clinical trials currently underway are not including enough pediatric patients. As a result, data of the effect of SARS-CoV-2 in children is limited. However, some studies have shown that there is a link between SARS-CoV-2 and multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children. Currently, there is insufficient data to determine what therapeutic strategies should be implemented in pediatric patients. However, on more of a side note, a journal published by Oxford University Press claims that the efficacy of adult treatments can be reasonably extrapolated to children and adolescents. As a result of the surge in COVID-19 cases, Only those who experience serious conditions as a result of the disease are to be hospitalized. To treat mild symptoms at home, acetaminophen, a common drug ingredient and pain reliever, can be taken to ease respiratory symptoms, but it is important to note that it will not cure or shorten the disease. Now, during this situation, not many of us would look to natural therapies or measures. Ayurveda is a natural system of medicine that originated in India and encourages lifestyle changes, and a recent study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine has claimed that Ayurveda and yoga can serve as add-on therapies for patients with COVID-19 and may help improve the standard of care. Ayurvedic treatments to combat this type of viral invasions are dubbed physiological masks and include the consumption of hot water, herbal decoctions, and steam inhalation. Now, poor mental health conditions and states have long been studied to increase the risk of respiratory problems. In the study, yoga and meditation have been argued to reduce inflammation markers and serve as effective home-based practices for the prevention, treatment, and post-recovery management of COVID-19. Looking back at the treatment options available, remdesivir appears to be the most ahead in terms of progress, as it has been included in many clinical trials and even compassionate use programs. However, remdesivir does have its drawbacks. It can only be given intravenously, which can pose as an invasiveness disadvantage, and it has only been shown to work against those who have severe COVID-19. However, a combination of remdesivir and another treatment option, such as the convalescent serum treatment option, might also be considered. Clinical trials and extensive research would have to be done to confirm this, but several studies have already been considering the administration of remdesivir and dexamethasone, so therefore it is a possibility. Now, many of the therapies and treatment plans that are currently under investigation include those that have been used to treat other conditions and were successful, such as dexamethasone. Now, it is per force that further trials and investigations be carried out in order to ensure the safety and efficiency of treatments for COVID-19. However, in addition to accumulating more evidence and results, it is also important that future clinical trials incorporate a diverse range of participants to further validate a treatment's effectiveness. As I come to an end, I want to stress how important it is for people to know that research is being conducted and treatments are being developed, tested, and assessed. Most of the news we see now revolves around the severity of the pandemic. Before undertaking this project, I was largely unaware of what research was being conducted. However, I cannot be more thankful to know what treatments are available or will be available, as it has led me to better understand the situation and be more hopeful. Thank you.